Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show today, everybody. Trump said they need to be in jail. Trump is now calling on the DOJ and the FBI to arrest Governor J.B. Pritzker and Mayor Brandon Johnson for obstruction of justice. This is massive, everybody. The first time that Trump has called out for these sanctuary city mayors to actively be arrested in a post. We have James Comey, who has officially been arraigned by the DOJ and pleaded not guilty to the 2 counts of obstruction. And Trump is actually pushing towards no back pay for federal workers during the shutdown, saying, what's the point of a shutdown if nothing changes? We have a huge update also on Charlie Kirk and what a lot of people believe ultimately led to his assassination. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, guys. Things are getting real. They're getting hard right now. Trump is trying to make change. And what I'm seeing right now, especially with no back pay for the federal workers, is that if the Democrats don't feel the hurt, if they don't, or if they are not the ones who get credit for the shutdown, then nothing's going to change. But again, remember, Trump's taking care of people. The Trump administration announced that it will transfer tariff revenue, baby, tariff revenue to the Women and Children Food Program, WIC, to ensure it doesn't run dry during the Schumer shutdown. Over 6 million rely on this program for healthy food assistance, and they almost suffered because of Democrats, but thankfully Trump has been bringing in more money. That's what I'm talking about. We also have Senate Republicans last night confirmed a staggering 107 nominees in a vote that passed strictly along the party lines. Trump's nominees, his judiciaries, are getting confirmed. This is a huge win for America. We also have it, again, where the stuff that's coming out of the DOJ, the FBI, this is why Trump said we need arrest. Assistant U.S. Attorney Russell Carberg and former DOJ prosecutor Michael Benary reportedly discussed spying on the administration and fantasizing about Trump and attorney Lindsay Halligan dying. All this stuff, guys, that we are starting to get all the details on because every single day the DOJ, the FBI is digging deeper and deeper into the mess that we have seen, and everybody's fed up, especially the conservatives, especially MAGA, especially Trump. We want to see jail time. Because again, too, remember, former FBI Director James Comey, who is facing the charges of alleged false statements and obstruction of congressional proceedings, he's been indicted. And with indictments comes 99% of the time some type of felony jail time. Something. They did it to Bannon. They did it to Navarro. Now we know that they were spying on 8 senators. Every day that we dig in deeper, guys, this is such big breaking news. It's not like we have weak news cycles throughout the week. Something is always being uncovered that is injustice, that is wrong, that was 100% abuse of power, and we are exposing and showing you the receipts, showing you it all. This is a big day today, guys. I love it. I want to say thank you to everybody who's watching, to all of our subscribers and viewers. Thank you so much for your support. We're truly grateful for everything that you do. If you're not part of the family yet, please consider joining, hitting that subscribe button so we can take care of you every single day with the top news. We're so grateful for everybody that is a member of the channel. Those that give a super chat donation, we want to give some special love to Charles Dunbar. Show Charles Dunbar some love in the chat. Thank you so much, brother, for your support, as well as, oh, got it right here, Kenneth Desmond. Thank you so much, Kenneth, for your support. Show some love to Tracy Markham in the chat. Upgraded the membership. I love it. KRO, Nitro Soft Plastics. Let's go. Show them some love in the chat. And if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting the thumbs up like button, we are at the point now where the news that's coming out, Trump is literally calling for arrest. It's about dang time. I'm with it. Let me know if you are. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Listen to this.
Today, and she was on fire.
And I wish that you loved your state of California as much as you hate President Trump. You know, Senator Schiff, if you worked for me, you would have been fired because you were censured by Congress for lying. I cannot believe that you would accuse me of impropriety when you lied about your military service.
I am
you
not
lied.
asking
You admitted you
I am
lied
not
to be
accusing you
elected
of
a U.S. senator.
impropriety.
You
I'm asking
lied.
you
How
about
dare you? I'm a
conversations
career prosecutor.
with Mr.
Don't you
Ballard.
ever challenge my integrity.
Democrats tried to distract from the big story that Joe Biden's FBI was spying on top Republican senators. Kash Patel's opening an investigation.
What we're doing with our partners at the Department of Justice is investigating absolutely everyone that was involved in any sort of politicization. It took them decades to build this corrupt institution.
Yep.
And it's going to take a little time for us to take it apart.
Kash dismantled the corruption squad that helped Jack Smith and his Arctic Frost team trace phone calls and track locations of senators like Hawley, Ron Johnson, and Graham.
You have, as you now know of, 8 sitting United States senators whose phone records were subpoenaed by the Department of Justice in the prior administration. For what? For what purpose? None of these senators are criminals. They have no criminal activity associated with them whatsoever.
There was no crime. Democrats went on a fishing expedition and tried to cook up a grand conspiracy to take down the entire Republican Party. Democrats' reaction to January 6th was so much worse than January 6th. Grassley says it's worse than Watergate.
When taken in context with widespread government weaponization against Trump and conservatives in the last decade, the conduct's arguably is worse than Watergate.
The senators getting spied on, they're not happy.
Can you tell me why my phone records, when I'm the chairman of the Judiciary Committee, were sought by the Jack Smith agents? Why did they?
Let me tell you this. He wasn't just a sitting senator. He was chairman, y'all. Chairman. The highest position within the Judiciary Committee that you can get. That is big. And for his records to be spied on without his consent, his knowledge, people are fed up. Look at this. Chicago, this is what Trump said. Chicago mayor should be in jail for failing to protect ICE officers. Governor Pritzker also. They're getting to the point where their actions that they are taking across the board, they're not merited. And again, too, every single thing that we're showing you, we are showing you the actual receipts, everybody. That even a former DOJ prosecutor, Michael Benary, allegedly texted instructions to Assistant U.S. Attorney Russell Carberg to monitor newly appointed U.S. Attorney Lindsay Halligan and her cases. Benary reportedly shared his dreams of watching Trump and Halligan die over text messages. How is it, again, this just like the Jones guy from the candidate for Virginia, I think it's the Virginia Attorney General, we're constantly seeing them wish death upon their political opponents. And it's sickening. It's not right. It's sickening. Let me know your thoughts on this, guys. This is big. Jim Barbato, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Show Jim Barbato some love in the chat. Everybody, we're bringing the receipts today. All the stuff that's coming out, I'm sick of it. Let me know your thoughts. People need to see the inside of a jail. We cannot continue to have this type of political atmosphere. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, thank you so much for your support. This is just insane what we are saying.
Asked to know who I called and what I was doing from January 4th to the 7th. Can you tell me that?
No, Senator, and there were 8 senators in total.
And the Democrats crying about weaponizing the Justice Department just got caught red-handed again.
Heard them say that Joe Biden never targeted his political enemies. That's interesting, because I could have sworn that yesterday we learned that the FBI tapped my phone. Gee, it sure looks like targeting political opponents to me, and yet I haven't heard a word from that side of the dais about any concern whatsoever.
Watergate was a media feeding frenzy, but this is getting covered up like the Wuhan lab.
Not only wasn't it an overreach, it's not even news. It's of course appropriate for him to investigate the time and nature, or at least the time and the duration of calls with members of Congress. It's a complete non-story, except that Jack Smith was doing his job.
I'm not surprised Zoom and Tubin thinks it isn't a big deal. Nothing's a big deal to Tubin.
Wow.
This isn't even the first time senators have been spied on. Obama's CIA cracked into their computers, lied to Congress about it, then admitted it. For those keeping track at home, Democrats have targeted parents, Catholics, Trump, senators, journalists, and Charlie Kirk. Trump's whole inner circle got indicted. So far, Trump's only indicted one Democrat, James Comey. And when it comes to Democrats, they'll always have the CIA. Newly declassified CIA records show Ukrainian officials were really worried about the Biden family's corrupt business ties back when Joe was VP. But Biden told them to bury the intel, and they did. Imagine that. A CIA officer triggered an impeachment over a perfect phone call, and then they covered up the laptop and this corruption report. It's time Pam Bondi appoint a special counsel to investigate Jack Smith, Merrick Garland, and Chris Wray.
Yes.
At the very least, we should have a Senate Special Select Committee, hold hearings, and have these goons testify under oath. And if they lie to Congress, off to prison. As they said, no one's above the law.
You know what, everybody?
Missouri Senator Josh Hawley's.
I want to show you this because I'm telling you, the left is losing it so bad right now. This stuff doesn't make the mainstream, and I don't even understand why. Man with 200 explosives and leftist manifesto arrested outside the Supreme Court event at church. 2 days after a Biden judge gave light sentence to attempted Kavanaugh assassin, church event historically attended by conservative justices targeted. It is next level what we are seeing. The amount of violence, 200 explosives with the leftist manifesto, stuff that we're seeing from the left is insane. And again, the things that we're seeing right here coming from Candace Owens as she put out last night. Owens says that Charlie sent messages 24 hours before his assassination saying he thought he was going to be killed, warning they were coming for him. This is what Charlie Kirk said the day before he lost his life. Then, Turning Point USA has now admitted that the text messages released by Candace Owens about Charlie Kirk's alleged blackmail with Israeli donors is authentic. Now, you tell me, guys, are we not exposing and showing you the receipts for everything that is happening right now? It is mind-blowing. Just from the left, from different sides, the corruption is so real. It is mind-blowing. You cannot make this type of violence up. This right here, this is unacceptable at the highest level. The guy, when they were arresting him, was screaming, "I'm going to get him. I'm going to get him one way or another." It is insane. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Janet Glendening, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Member of the channel, said #1 fan. I love it. Show Janet some love in the chat. Thank you so much for your support. We are bringing the breaking news today, everybody. And again, what's going to happen next? That's the #1 question everybody is asking.
Here. All right, so Senator, how did we even find out about this?
Well, I think we found out because whistleblowers came forward, Jesse, with this information, which the Biden FBI tried to bury. I mean, let's be clear about this. It wasn't like they said, oh, listen, we want to tell you something really bad that we did. No, they lied about it. They tried to hide it. And then, as it turns out, they got wiretaps essentially on 8 Republican senators. This is after they targeted 92 conservative organizations, including Charlie Kirk's TPUSA, just because they were conservatives, all the while they were raiding Mar-a-Lago and persecuting Donald Trump, trying to keep him off the ballot. Jesse, they turned entire agencies of the U.S. government into their political tools, the Bidens did. They need to pay a price for that.
So what did they get from your phone? What were they able to get?
They were able to get the list of incoming calls, outgoing calls, my location, when the calls were received, the duration of the calls.
They had him on LoJack. Oh my goodness. That is messed up.
As well as metadata associated with the phone. And Jesse, that's just what we know about for sure. The truth is, we don't know the extent of their information gathering. We don't know what they did with it. We really don't know why they wanted it, other than, as you said, it was a dragnet. They were trying to destroy the entire Republican Party, beginning, of course, with Donald Trump, who was their #1 target, and sweeping up anybody associated with them and anybody who was standing up against Joe Biden. Because remember, Jesse, this didn't happen until 2023. That's when Jack Smith and his goons went on this witch hunt. 2023. This was all about politics.
Yeah. So what are we going to do about this?
Well, what needs to happen is we need a special prosecutor who's going to go at this hard. I mean, we need to get all of the corruption uncovered. What we have here is rot that goes all through the FBI, that goes all through the DOJ. As Cash said a second ago in the clip you played, they've had decades to assemble this deep state. We need to disassemble it. We need somebody who is going after every person who was involved in this, who's going to expose it. We need hearings in public, put these people under oath, start with Jack Smith. Let's hear from Merrick Garland. Let's hear from Christopher Wray. And anybody who broke the law needs to be prosecuted.
Completely agree, 100%, and that can't come soon enough. Senator, thank you so much.
Thank you.
It is mind-blowing, everything that I'm showing you today, because, again, it's deeper and deeper of where is the corruption coming from. I'm telling you, the details that we have on this, the man with the 200 explosives, everybody, was arrested outside the Cathedral of St. Matthew the Apostle in Washington, D.C., before the annual Red Mass, and his manifesto revealed his significant animosity towards the Catholic Church, members of the Jewish faith, members of SCOTUS, and ICE facilities. Oh, I wonder what side of the aisle this guy was leaning on. If he was targeting people that were for the ICE and ICE facilities and things like that, it's the left, everybody. Like, it's not Trump derangement syndrome. It's just literally borderline on psychotic insanity. This psychotic behavior, we have to set the example. We have to make sure that America is safe. I cannot imagine they're targeting the churches. How messed up is that? And again, the new stuff that's coming out, everything that we're trying to bring, this breaking news, everybody, the Democrats can't stand it. We are trying to bring you all the breaking news. How much times, even right here, with former DOJ prosecutors, former U.S. attorneys that were literally fantasizing about Trump being killed and his U.S. Attorney Halligan over text messages. Like, who does this? People that are evil. It is evil at the highest level. I'm sick of it. I know you're sick of it. As if you appreciate our breaking news, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, this is what helps us really grow our voice. It grows this channel. It helps us to get our reach out there. Because guess what we just found out today? An arrest has been made in relation to the deadly Pacific Palisades fire that scorched the Los Angeles area. Federal law enforcement says arson over all the fires that happened in California. Well, guess what? Now, Gavin Newsom is turning those California Palisades, they bought up all the land, the government has, turning it into low-income housing. And even look at the ballots for voting. Sacramento voters are raising alarms after spotting holes in their mail-in ballot envelopes, fearing that votes on Proposition 50 could be seen or tampered with. So when they can see what you picked, they know, oh, if you pick the top, oh, that's against what we wanted. They throw the mail ballot out. Guys, I'm telling you, this stuff that is breaking, we are reaching the inflection point of America where the corruption is so blatant, they cannot deny it. And we are trying to make sure that everybody gets to see and hear exactly what's going on. Listen to this.
Senator Hawley joins him now. He just came off of the Senate Judiciary Committee. I'll get to that in a moment. Look, Senator, here's what you got to explain to folks. Because we've had Tuberville up, and you've got yourself and Johnson and some of the more fire breathers and people that are action-oriented. I want to describe to people exactly what the FBI did to you guys, Jack Smith did to you guys, but more importantly, why are we having to be supplicants in this? Why does Senator Johnson have to go to the microphone and say, hey, a whistleblower came forward, Dan Bongino admits they don't have control over this, hard as they're working, Dan and these guys are working, but we have to, people in the United States Senate, the most selective, deliberative body in the history of mankind, okay? We only have 100 of a nation of 330 million. Why do you have to act as a supplicant to get information about a federal police force and an out-of-control prosecutor that is basically trying to intimidate and imprison United States senators, sir?
Yeah, and how about this, Steve, that we don't know, even now, we don't know who ordered these wiretaps, which is essentially what it was. We don't know who was involved in it. I just asked the Attorney General under oath just now, a few minutes ago. I said, who was involved? Who knew about it? Was the White House involved, Joe Biden? And she said, basically she doesn't know. We got to know. I mean, we need to find out. These are 8 senators, including me, who were wiretapped. But Steve, as you know, that's the tip of the iceberg here. They went after Donald Trump like nobody's business, and they went even beyond that. They went after Charlie Kirk. They went after 90 different conservative organizations. They went after ordinary people, normal, hardworking people. Pro-lifers, they prosecuted. Catholics, they tried to recruit spies into their parishes. This was all happened at the same time, by the way. It's that 2022, 2023 time period when the FBI and DOJ were completely off the leash. I mean, I say that. They were really doing Biden's bidding at every turn, and we still don't have accountability for what happened. And it's going to happen again unless we get some accountability.
Let me tell you this. Accountability doesn't happen when the Democrats are in charge. I want to show you this right here. San Francisco erupts as a 91. This is from Fox News. We're not making this stuff up, everybody. 91-time felon tries to dodge prison, weasel into rehab after a deadly crash killing 2 people. 91 times. You cannot make up how soft crime policies are not destroying Americans, innocent Americans' lives. We're showing it to you right here. And the reason that this is becoming such a big deal is because they're entertaining it. How are we ever supposed to move forward or protect people when you have people that have committed 91 felonies and are still dodging prison? Melinda Johnson, thank you so much for the super chat. 100% said we are completely fed up. Bondi is on fire. Get him. Let's go. Show Melinda some love in the chat, as well as our brother Jogo said Dems new prison located in China. It's called Camp Gaslight, where the truth takes a permanent vacation. My goodness, I love it. Y'all show Jogo, true OG of the channel, some love in the chat. Member for 2 months. I love it. Thank you so much, brother. Doyle Alvin Knight, thank you so much. Member of the channel said, thank you, Joe, for giving us the truth, for having such a great news channel. We totally love you, brother. Love you too, brother. Y'all show Doyle some love in the chat, as well as Sin55. Let's go, said make insane asylums great again. This is just mind-blowing. That this is the news we're reporting, what we're living in America, and people don't think that there's nothing wrong with this? Are you kidding me? I don't believe the elections, just like I showed you, one bit in these blue states. Right here. If they can put a dang hole in the ballot where they can see where you actually voted, and then literally whoever's counting it could either throw it out or not, and you would have no idea? Heck no. There's no photo ID or nothing. This is what's happening in blue states. Jogo, thank you so much with the gifted 5 TrueLife News memberships. Let's go. Growing the family. If you got a free membership from Jogo, show Jogo some love in the chat. I love it. Hey, we're bringing the news today, y'all. This is big.
Quick.
And didn't they come consistently up and either bald-faced lied or obfuscated what was going on during those years, sir? Because you got people were trying to get folks realized something was not right. You were trying to get answers, and the folks there at the time either bald-faced lied to y'all or obfuscated so you couldn't find it, sir.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. I mean, I'll just walk through a few of the instances. You know, let's just take the school board memo where Garland turns the anti-terrorism division of the FBI onto parents. I asked him about that to his face. I said, did the White House have any involvement in this? Joe Biden, he said, no, that was a lie. We now know the White House directed it. The Catholic parishes memo, trying to recruit spies into parishes. I said, did you actually send this out to agents? They said, oh, no, it was just a draft. That was a lie. They sent it out to over 1,000 agents around the country. They said that they weren't targeting any political opponents. They were wiretapping my phone.
Wow.
I mean, these guys are unbelievable. And Steve, we still don't have accountability. I don't know who's been fired. I want to know. I don't know who's being prosecuted for this. We need to see some prosecutions. And we need to know who was involved from the Biden administration from the top down.
So from the Senate perspective, how do we help assist President Trump? Because we understand they're overwhelmed. They got so much going on. You know, he's trying to put down an insurrection in Portland, in Chicago, and Los Angeles. What would be your recommendation to the president? I know he talks to you frequently. What would be your recommendation? Because now we got to stop the nonsense, right? And we're burning daylight. This thing's got to be addressed. It's got to be addressed today, and it's got to be made a priority. So what would be your recommendation, sir?
I think they need to put a DOJ. I just said this to the Attorney General. I think DOJ needs to put a prosecutor on this whose sole job is to go get all of the facts,
Amen.
who has total authority to investigate and interview and subpoena everybody. They need to talk to Joe Biden. They need to talk to everybody in the Biden White House. They need to go talk to who was running the FBI at the time. They need to talk to Merrick Garland. And we need to get answers. There needs to be total transparency. They need to make all of their findings public. If there were violations of the laws, I believe they were, they need to be prosecuted. But we need somebody who is running point on this, whose job is to get in there and get the facts and expose the rot and the corruption. This is classic deep state stuff. Classic. And that's what we're up against now. That's what the president is up against, is this deep state corruption. And we need to blow the doors off of it.
I want to show you this, because I'm telling you, we bring you the receipts, everybody. What is so deep state about all of this? It's about the control. We literally, White House put it out today. This is from Harvard Cap's the Harris poll, that 78% of Americans support deporting illegal immigrants who have committed crimes. This was posted by the White House. This was posted from Harvard Cap's the Harris poll, okay? We're not talking about a conservative outlet. But 56% say support deporting all immigrants who are here illegally. That's the majority of America who say we need to clean up America. What more could people deny? This is the consensus of the United States at this point. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Jogo, thank you so much with the gifted 5 TrueLife News memberships. Let's go. Another 5. If you got a free membership from Jogo, show him some love in the chat. True OG of the channel. Thank you, brother, for your kindness. Debbie Davis, thank you so much for the super chat. Member of the channel. Show Debbie some love in the chat. We can't thank y'all enough for your kindness and support. Remember, when you give a membership, when you're a super chat, we donate the proceeds on the 22nd of every single month, live on stream, everybody. We're donating to a local charity. And our boy, Robert Cash, thank you so much, brother, said, let's go. Light our candle. Our world needs it. Good will overcome evil. Jesus is the light. Amen. And thank you so much, Queen of Yeshua, for the support. Said, eloquent lips are unsweet to a God is full. How much worse, lying lips to a ruler? Amen. Show Queen of Yeshua, Jogo, Debbie, and Robert Cash some love in the chat, everybody. The majority of America sees through all the lies, sees through all the gaslighting, and we are going to get justice one way or another, the right way, with no violence.
Because this gets to my point. We can't be supplicants waiting for whistleblowers, waiting for people to have either a conscience change or be afraid of prosecution to come forward. We've called for...
I do want to say this, though, because of what he just said. And I, if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting the thumbs up like button, the whistleblowers are a big reason why we even know so much of this stuff. And we can't always rely on them. So to me, full investigation into every single department in the federal government. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
A special prosecutor, and that prosecutor, in your view, would impanel a grand jury? I mean, they'd have the ability to do that. It would be totally vertically integrated.
Exactly. Put a special prosecutor into place, give him or her total authority to impanel a grand jury, give them all the tools of investigation. This is why we have the special prosecutor statute. This person would report to the attorney general, but they would have the full authority to get out there, get outside the bureaucracy, don't have to get it signed off by 15 people, get outside the bureaucracy and get after it. Go figure out who wrote these memos, who authorized these wiretaps. You know, you think about the Trump persecution. We still don't know who within DOJ and FBI was really involved in that either. I mean, at this remove, we don't know. I mean, raiding his home in Mar-a-Lago multiple times, we still don't know everybody who was involved in that. We need to know. And people who did this stuff need to be prosecuted.
Normally, we would be live watching you guys on Senate Judiciary on such a big day of oversight with Pam Bondi, the Attorney General, but we've had Eric Trump and had other senators on here about this very topic. Give us a tone today. I particularly want to know the Democrats' questions, and what are they focused? Are they focused on the things that you and others in the Republican side are focused on, sir, when they're going after the Attorney General?
No, of course not. In fact, I think it's kind of hilarious, Steve. I've heard them today talk about, how this DOJ, Donald Trump's DOJ, is going after political opponents. I was like, are you kidding? I haven't heard a word of concern from them about the fact that Joe Biden literally wiretapped people in the opposition party he didn't like. I mean, wake up, guys. I mean, admit the facts. So no, they're living in a total alternate reality, Steve, and they're going to continue to live in that alternate reality. We know that because they're the party of the deep state. And the only way that we put to bed this chapter in American history of total corruption of our institutions under Biden is we've got to expose it. We've got to have total transparency. We've got to have full accountability. That's how we put this thing to bed once and for all.
But how do they...
Let me tell you this. If Trump isn't lighting a fire under everybody, because remember how I told you Trump has called for people to be arrested. Mayor Brandon Johnson, all these people. Why? Because we're seeing lawlessness happen. We're seeing lawfare take place, and we're through with it. They're obstructing justice, okay? Chicago Mayor Brandon Johnson is furious after President Trump called for him to be arrested after leaving federal agents out to dry post-air attack. This is what he said about President Trump. The president is unstable, unhinged. He, quite frankly, is a threat to democracy, and it's not the first time Trump has called for the arresting of a black man unjustly. I'm not going anywhere. I'm going to stay firm. I hope he arrests him. Let me tell you this. Don't care what color you are. When you are obstructing justice, it is what it is. And whenever you keep saying he's a threat to democracy, there's a difference between saying somebody needs to be arrested versus somebody's a threat to democracy. Okay? I'm going to actually fact check myself on that, on seeing if Trump has ever said that somebody was a threat to democracy. Because what we're seeing here and what you're seeing Josh Hawley say in all this, that's a threat to democracy. Jogo, thank you so much again with the 5 gifted TrueLife News memberships. If you got a free membership from Jogo, show our brother some love in the chat. 15 total gifted memberships. Show him some love in the chat. True OG of the channel. Thank you so much, brother, for your kindness, for your giving. We are growing. Our voice is growing. It's all because of you, and we're so thankful for all your support.
Now, we've kind of crossed the Rubicon to a degree that this is about the Senate. How do you guys talk to them? Because we're talking about not just separation of powers. This deliberative body has always been held out as something so special. How do you deal with these guys now when the Biden regime and the Biden FBI and DOJ came after senators? Forget the political party. I mean, how do you guys talk amongst each other? Don't they realize that this is leveled up now? This is somewhere we've never gone in the history of this country, sir?
I sure hope that they do, and I just pointed out to him just now on the committee, Steve, you took the words out of my mouth. This is what I said to him. I said, are you going to allow this to happen? Are you actually going to sit here and lecture Pam Bondi on targeting political opponents when you just watched your guy wiretap 8 United States senators, when you just watched your guy recruit spies into Catholic parishes in America, when you just watched your guy go after 92 private conservative organizations, including Charlie Kirk, TPUSA. Where's the outrage from them? I mean, we need to hear it. They need to take responsibility for what's happened, and they can be part of the solution, but we got to clean it up right now. This is what the American people elected us to do, is to clean out the rot, and it needs to happen right now.
I'm telling you, I am so fed up with so much that is going on and that we're seeing and stuff that's just continuing. Like I'm telling you, we are fighting tooth and nail. And think about this. The Trump administration announced that it will transfer tariff revenue to the Women and Children Food Program to ensure it doesn't run dry during the Schumer shutdown. So that tariff revenue is such a win for Americans. Such a win. And again, there's 6 million people that rely on that. The Democrats want to spend $1.5 trillion on this type of stuff. And that's why, again, we're bringing you the update every day. What's going on? Straight from Congress. Because I'm telling you, it's going to get harder and harder. We're wasting money every day. And it's literally a clean CR. The Republicans have added nothing to the continuing resolution, and yet the Democrats want $1.5 trillion in spending. Let me know your thoughts. Listen to this.
On to day 8 of the Democrat shutdown. As is our custom now, we'll come out every morning and give you an update on where things stand. I've tried to make this as simple as possible and as digestible as possible. It seems complicated, what's happening in Washington right now. It actually is very simple. Don't let the Democrats distract you and try to convince you of things that are not true. Yesterday, or a couple of days ago, Monday, I laid out 6 simple truths about how the Democrats shut down the government, why they did it, and why it is so important for them to come to their senses and turn the lights on. Yesterday, I went through 5 fast facts for you about the shutdown, and I explained, as everyone now knows, Chuck Schumer's desperate attempts to rehabilitate his own image by shutting down the government. Today, we're going to talk about some of the consequences of that shutdown and what it means to real people around this country, real Americans experiencing the devastating cost of their political antics here. And I'm going to read you some sample quotes and headlines that we just collected yesterday from around the country. Here's a headline from The Hill. GOP leaders point to Capitol Police missed paychecks as shutdown drags on. So today, the U.S. Capitol Police officers are going to come to work to bravely protect U.S. government officials and staff in these dangerous times. They're going to do that without pay. Many Democrats in this chamber, by the way, I want to note, are going to receive paychecks this month, while the men and women of the U.S. Capitol Police who are protecting them will not.
Wow.
Here's another headline from the New York Post. Aviation groups warn a government shutdown will delay aircraft safety inspections, maintenance work on critical equipment. While air traffic controllers are going to continue to serve in their posts, thankfully, critical safety inspections are going to stop, increasing risk for air travelers. That affects everybody. Here's another headline from Georgia, local media in Georgia. Central Georgia food banks prepare for surge of new clients during the government shutdown. It's a sad headline. Remember, Georgia's 2 Democrat senators, Warnock and Ossoff, have now voted 5 times to keep the government closed down. 5 times so far. I suspect they may continue, and they're hurting real people in the state of Georgia. Here's one from New Hampshire local media. National parks caught in the crosshairs of government shutdown. Let me point out that both senators from New Hampshire, Senators Shaheen and Hassan, have repeatedly voted to keep the government closed, and New Hampshire's national park sites closed by extension. How about New Jersey? Here's a headline yesterday. Hospital at-home telehealth programs on hold amid government shutdown. You got 2 Democrat senators in New Jersey, Andy Kim and Cory Booker, and they have repeatedly voted against funding these programs, which New Jerseyans rely upon daily. Here's one from Michigan. Michigan nonprofit leaders said a shutdown would be at best disruptive and at worst potentially devastating for local communities. There are 2 Democrat senators in Michigan. Gary Peters and Alyssa Slotkin, and they have voted now 5 times to enable this devastation upon their communities. One more, I could do this all day.
I want to show you, everybody, because I hope you appreciate this. If you do, if you don't mind doing us a huge favor of hitting the thumbs up like button, it really does help our channel out so much. Undocumented migrant, this is from the New York Post. Undocumented migrant deported multiple times, charged in drunken crash that killed 6. This is about as heartbreaking as it gets. This is what, again, MAGA is saying, hey, look, if you're undocumented and you've been deported and you've committed crimes, we don't want you here. You are not a positive to society. And people's lives are freaking being lost because y'all have chosen to keep them here and not deport them. And it literally makes me sick to think about that family who now has to live with those lost family members because the Democrats said we do not want to deport any undocumented migrants, regardless if they've been deported, regardless if they've committed crimes. We want them here. Well, guess what? That family will never be the same. And we report this news. I apologize so much. Right here. Undocumented migrant deported multiple times, charged in drunken crash that killed 6. We report this news because it is the truth of what is going on. And you say, well, there's only one. Like that one lady said, well, there's only one. Y'all have only found one. It doesn't matter. One is too many. You take out the problem because, again, this person should have never been here in the first place. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. A lot of people say, oh, that's so heartless, Joel. No, you know what's heartless? Is innocent lives broken and destroyed forever. They'll go their entire lives. They've lost family members. They'll go their entire lives and never forget that their family member was killed in a drunken crash by an undocumented migrant. Probably didn't even have a driver's license. So you tell me, who do I sympathize with? Who do I empathize with? Do I empathize with people that outright broke the law, or do I empathize with people that literally were just trying to live their daily lives as a normal, law-abiding citizen? This is the problem that we're dealing with, everybody. And this is what, again, the Democrats are hanging their hat on, that they want to continue to defend. They want to continue to put as a priority with America Last policy, saying we have to keep these people here. We can't deport them. This is reality right now for a lot of Americans. It's heartbreaking. It's disgusting. And that's why, again, we bring you the truth, everybody. The amount of just, it's sick. And that's why I want to see real change.
Here's one more from CBS News. Government shutdown fears have Colorado food banks bracing for potential new visitors. You guessed it. 2 Democrat senators from Colorado, Michael Bennet and John Hickenlooper, they keep voting over and over to keep the government closed. Democrats claim they want to negotiate, but that is already happening in a bipartisan, bicameral fashion. And we brought in the chairman of the House Appropriations Committee this morning, Tom Cole, who can talk more about that. But I just want to say this as I yield to Mr. Cole, and then you'll hear from the rest of the leaders, and I'll take some questions. There is one sad and inescapable fact that no one can forget here. This shutdown is nothing more than political cover for Chuck Schumer and the Democrats. They are worried about the Marxist flanked in their Democrat Party. The Marxists are about to elect a mayor in New York City. That's Chuck Schumer's state, and he's terrified that he's going to get a challenge from his far left. I've noted that Chuck Schumer is a very far left politician, but he is not far enough left for the communists, and they're coming for him. And so he has to put up his dukes and show a fight. So they picked a fight on something that's not even related at all to the shutdown, and the funding that we should have gotten done by the end of September. We just need a stopgap measure to give us a little more time to get the job of Congress done. They refuse to do it because they're playing politics, and real Americans are paying the price for it. But let me introduce Chairman Cole, and he can tell you about some of these discussions that have been going on. Mr. Cole.
Before we get into that, I want to show you something else, because again, too, it's. I hate crime. I hate when people break the law. I hate violence with every single facet of my being. And I just showed you this right here. The undocumented migrant deported multiple times, charged in drunken crash that killed 6. Well, guess what? There was a deputy dad of 2 who was shot dead after a Louisiana courthouse tussle with arrestee who reached for the cop's gun. That murderer's name is Latrell Clark. Is it not heartbreaking that we report these things, that where those 2 kids, his daughters, are going to grow up without a dad because violence has overtaken America? We don't set the example. Obviously, our deputies were not protected enough because the guy was able to reach for his gun and then was killed. Now you tell me again. I love it. I love reading the chat. Again, we are moving towards, we have to hold people more accountable. We have to make sure that we set the example. Violence is never the answer. But I hate it when we see violent criminals that are taking the lives of innocent. And now these people negotiating behind closed doors for more money. That's all they want, is always more money, more money. They can't even manage what they get. And this is the reality for a lot of Americans. Jim Barbado, thank you so much, brother, for the super chat. Let's go. Show Jim some love in the chat, everybody. OG of the channel. Thank you so much, brother, for your kindness. Don't forget to show Joe Go some love in the chat for the gifted memberships. We appreciate you so much, brother. What you're about to hear next, everybody, is it's the conversations behind closed doors. The Democrats are holding strong, and I hope that in some way, form, or fashion, that Trump and his team hold strong enough to fight against this.
Mr. Speaker, usually when I follow the speaker, I usually think I should just say what he said and excuse myself right away. But in this case, it is pretty easy. I mean, we've had a pretty decent year in the House Appropriations Committee. All 12 bills out of committee before September 30th. 3 that we are in negotiations on with the Democrats. Those negotiations have gone very well. We're prepared pretty quickly to close once the government's reopened. We could get at least 3 bills done. The president could sign them in. Those things would be immune from a shutdown until the following September 30th. Then we'd pick another group of 3 or 4 bills, and then we would do in cooperation with our Democratic colleagues and start working on that. So the process, honestly, was moving along pretty well. And then we had unrelated demands, obviously related to repealing work the Congress had already done on Medicaid, and then these new discussions on subsidies. And I do want to point out, at least the bill we have right now in front of us doesn't even go till December 31st. I mean, these actions would still, we could do this work and still have time to turn around, as the president and our leadership has pointed out in both chambers, and sit down and talk about these other issues. But it's hard to do much when the negotiations aren't happening simply because the government is shut down. So again, we're prepared to work. I've got very talented counterparts on the Democratic side. They're good negotiators. We've negotiated a lot of labor issue bills together between Patty Murray, Rosa DeLauro, and myself. And obviously, Susan Collins is one of the best legislators in the building. So it's not like we were going to have a hard time, I think, finding common ground. But you do have to restore the government for that to happen. Democrats are not likely to move bills while they've got the government shut down, because it suggests that absent that, we would be moving through the process as normal. And frankly,
in a much better shape than we've been in recent years. So, again, I'm just hopeful that my colleagues in the Senate, and it's worth pointing out, a majority of the Senate's already on our side, a bipartisan majority of 55. So this really does get down to Leader Schumer and the bulk of his caucus to simply shutting down the government over items unrelated to what we normally do in appropriation. I've mentioned this to both the Speaker and the Leader because they make these decisions, but, you know, we should not be handling Medicaid on my committee. We should not be handling the Obamacare subsidies simply because we don't have the expertise or the jurisdiction to do either one of those things. What we can do is move the bills through the process and make sure that every soldier is paid, make sure that every air traffic controller is paid, make sure that the American people don't lose any services. So we're prepared to do that. Frankly, I think my Democratic colleagues are prepared to do that once we resolve this shutdown, and that's quite simply in the hands of Leader Schumer and the bulk of his caucus. When they make the mind that they want the government up and running, believe me, we'll move very quickly, and we'll try to move away quickly from a CR status to passing bills individually or in small groups and get folks up and working again and get the government restored and continue that process as we're supposed to do. So with that, Mr. Speaker, I just yield back.
Thank you.
The amount of change that we need to see from our government, let the shutdown go. Look at this. The Washington Post just admitted what conservatives have been saying for 15 years. Washington Post editorial board says that Obamacare was never actually affordable. Really? Remember, you can keep your doctors, you can keep your plan, you can keep all that. Guess what? Never happened. Man, I'm telling you, it's just crazy because the news cycle is always going so fast to continue to get updates on what's happened and what's changed on top of what is new and what's coming. This is massive, everybody. CR, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. Show CR some love in the chat. Thank you so much. I love it. Member of the channel. And if you don't mind, everybody, hitting the thumbs up like button. The reason I ask this, because it really does help to grow a voice. It reminds people, but also, too, we always have people that are dropping off, people that are jumping on stream and watching, and we just want to grow this channel. And I don't mind asking it because I know it does help, and I know that it does help us grow our voice, and we want to grow our voice when we want to grow our giving. People are seeing a lot of stuff happen over this shutdown. Listen to this.
Store all of that. They want $1.5 trillion to open government back up, Larry, and that'll happen when donkeys fly backwards. We're not going to give in.
The other thing I just want to mention this is a very interesting book. I heard you on my dear friend Mark Levin's show last night.
Yeah.
Coming down back to New York on the radio, and so I want to read it carefully. I got through the first part of it, but I just want to ask you: there is an insurrection going on over these cities: Los Angeles, Seattle, Portland, Chicago. This is blue state Democrats versus the cops and versus ICE and versus law and order, and I think it's an abomination.
Well, it is, and here's what I don't understand. Just step back and look at it from 35,000 feet. Whether you're Democrat or Republican, you're the mayor of a major city.
Right.
And you've got a crime problem, a huge crime problem. It goes up, it goes down a little bit, but it's still a crime problem. And somebody from the federal government says, I will offer to send in law enforcement officials to help you, and it won't cost you a dime. Mm-hmm. Now, any fair-minded mayor is going to say, well, sure, I can use all the help I can get.
Yeah.
And it worked in Washington. It'll work in other places. And on top of that, for the cities that are sanctuary cities, they actually work against us in trying to deport foreign nationals who are in our country illegally. And if you look at it that way, it's just down to the marrow bone deep stupid.
Yeah, I mean, it's an insurrection. We quoted earlier in the Federalist Papers from Hamilton about moving the militia, the National Guard around. These lower judges are just impeding Trump's, and it's an easy one. This one's not hard. Perhaps some of Trump's agenda items are more this is too simple. This is protecting people. This is law and order and public safety. Anyway, you've been in the Senate a while now.
Yeah.
First of all, you're happy you're in the Senate. I've known you quite some time when I was in the government. And second of all, does the Senate work? In your judgment, does it work?
Well, I enjoy the Senate. You have good days, you have bad days, you never have a boring day. If you like policy, as I do, there's no better place than the United States Senate. But here's what took me a while to learn. 50% of your job, some people think it's 100%, they're wrong. 50% of your job, my job, is advancing good ideas. But the other 50% is killing bad ideas. And that's what we spend in the Senate a lot of time on the Republican side, is killing bad ideas. And sometimes that's as important as advancing good ideas through passing bills.
And this is a big thing too. It's all about your nominees. How many people you have that are actually on your side. Look at this. During the shutdown, Senate Republicans confirmed a staggering 107 nominees in a vote last night that passed strictly along the party lines. This is big because, again, we're like, why'd you take a recess? Well, they had this stuck up their sleeve that they've literally, I think it's like 200 nominees now that they've voted through and passed strictly along party lines for Trump. It's beautiful. I love it. But it's like, the more people that we get that are MAGA first, America first, and keep them there, that's to me is what's going to make the difference. Andy, thank you so much for the super chat. Let's go. He says something doesn't sit right. Charlie's security actions seem strange. Taking photos with his meta glasses. Where are the pictures of this man took and why? Andy, thank you so much, brother. What Andy's talking about, I'm telling you, y'all. So last night, Candace Owens said that she hit her dead man switch. And if you don't know what that is, it's basically when you think that your life's about to be taken, you have literally a videos saved, or you have a safe with documents that if your life is taken, this automatically is released to the public. Because Owens says that Charlie sent messages 24 hours before his assassination saying that he was going to be killed, warning they were coming for him. This is what Charlie Kirk said. And then Turning Point USA now admitted that the text messages released by Candace Owens about Charlie Kirk's alleged blackmail with the Israeli donors are authentic. So you tell me, where does this all stand? Thank you so much, Andy, again with the super chat. Said why the cameraman behind him was immediately removed. Where's the tape? 100% suspicious. Yeah, I remember that. Like, while all this stuff is happening, the dude goes for the camera. I know that they had to turn this stuff off, but it's like, that's a very odd thing. My thing is like, safe, make sure people are safe, make sure that nobody is hurt. Y'all show Andy some love in the chat. I'm telling you, the further that we dig, the more corrupt that deep state is 100% involved with a lot of this stuff.
Oh, in your term, and I want to ask you about working with President Trump, as I know you do, and you spent a lot of private time with Mr. Trump. What's he like in private time? And is he moving the country in the right direction in these areas? On the economy, for example, on law and order, on closing the border, and so forth. Are you satisfied with the job performance? Are you satisfied with the direction?
Well, here's my experience with President Trump. First, he's whip smart, whether you like the man or not. He's very, very, very smart. He does trust his instincts, but they're more often right than wrong. He learned a lot in his first term. He decided in the second term to be bold. Sometimes he's too bold. He exists loudly. You and I both know him. The president, how can I put it? He grows anxious when he has an unexpressed thought. He just says it. Now, for a president, from one point of view, he's transparent. From another point of view, it gets him in trouble a lot. But he's like that.
But he asks good questions.
He asks good questions, and he's like that in private, and he's like that in public. We have done a lot on the economy, much more than the president has talked about. And I have encouraged him to go ask for 30 minutes or an hour on television so you can talk to the American people what you're doing about regulation to lower the cost of goods and services and what we're doing to hold inflation in check. So far, he hadn't taken my advice on that, but the economy is important.
Others, I won't say whom, but others have agreed with you. You should give a national speech. As one of the others, I worked for Reagan many years ago. Reagan gave fabulous national speeches, prime time, on the economy and explained exactly what he was doing, and they were vastly successful. And I think Mr. Trump could do likewise. But it's not personal for me, but I don't like almost anything that Chuck Schumer is doing. I don't like it. I mean, it's a direct contract. He wants to move the country in the wrong direction.
I don't hate anybody.
Neither do I.
And I know you don't. And when I say my prayers, I ask God, don't let me hate. I don't hate Chuck. Senator Schumer, I know him well. This shutdown's not about policy. It's about politics. And Senator Schumer, this is what's going on. He is trying to get the loon wing, the socialist wing of the Democratic Party, which is in control, to love him. And they will never love him.
They
won't. He'd be better off doing what he did back in March, and just calling it like he saw it and keeping government open. Because what he's saying, we're going to keep government shut down until you, the Republicans, and President Trump give the Democrats $1.5 trillion, and they're going to tell us how to spend it.
We just had John Thune on, Majority Leader of the Senate, who said we can't do that.
And we're not going to do that.
You cannot do that.
We're not going to. I mean,
and Schumer has to know that.
And he does know that.
Yeah.
And let me tell you how this will end. It will end eventually when Senator Schumer goes to 6 or 8 of his members and the Democrats and says, do me a favor, vote to open it back up. I may have to criticize you. I'm not going to vote with you, but I need a way out of this. I need an offer.
That's the offer.
And that's what's going to happen.
Let me tell you this. I would love to see that happen. If you appreciate this, if you don't mind hitting the thumbs up like button, everybody, we appreciate it so much. We have people that are truly patriots. The era of cartels operating freely in America is over. Kash Patel has said, we are going after the worst of the worst. And not only that, Trump came out and explicitly said that Chicago mayors should be in jail for failing to protect ICE officers, and Governor Pritzker also. And the FBI has launched an investigation into this. What actually happened? Because we have recordings that the lady literally says to stand down. Don't go. Who made the call? Who needs to be held accountable? That's where we're at right now. So as we are just digging deeper and deeper into this, how far we're day 8 of the shutdown, how far is it going to go? But again, too, you have to ask how much people's lives are being affected because of this shutdown, and we cannot give in. There's no way that it is worth bringing back the government to spend $1.5 trillion to make the Democrats happy for their slush funds. We cannot give them money for the slush funds. That's how they win their elections. That's how they win their local elections, and they have their way with judiciaries. I promise you that in some form or fashion, USAID money or money that's come from the government has went overseas or circulated through governments and come back and paid off congressmen or judiciaries to fulfill the needs of not only Democrats, but Republicans. But I say more on the Democratic side. Let me know your thoughts in the comments.
The government shut down. Have you noticed anything different since last week? Has your life changed? Turns out the government doesn't do much but spend money and then complain when we don't let them. Here's what they're trying to sneak through. Watch.
We found that under President Biden, they were spending $3 million for circumcisions and vasectomies in Zambia, $833,000 for transgender people in Nepal. We found $3.6 million for pastry cooking classes and dance focus groups for male prostitutes in Haiti. I kid you not.
Schumer shut down the government to save his skin, and it backfired. AOC is running the party, and everybody thinks Hakeem wears a sombrero. Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, is here. All right, Speaker, they said the sombrero is not funny, and you have to stop laughing.
Look, thank you for that parade of absurdity there. I mean, AOC is the future of the party, and that's exactly why Chuck Schumer is acting as he is right now. They voted for the 5th time, about 2 hours ago, to keep the government closed. Chuck Schumer would never have done this in the past. In fact, he gave impassioned speeches of why we couldn't do it. It would be too dangerous for the people, and he's changed course. Why, Jesse? It's plain and simple. He's afraid he's going to get a challenge from AOC in the next Senate race, and so he's got to show a fight against Trump and Republicans. It's very dangerous. It's really silly, and there's no point. They have nothing to argue. We hope that they'll fold quickly so we can get back to business here.
Yeah, one of the silliest things I've ever heard, we were spending money on dance lessons for male escorts in Haiti.
Yep.
What in the world is that about?
Yeah, thanks to the DOJ effort, okay? When Elon came in and got the team working, they were putting the magic algorithms to work through all these agencies. We've done oversight. We've had hearings since I've been here for 8 years. We've tried to dig into this. They didn't show us those facts, but they were able to uncover it because the facts don't lie, and then we unwound it. We, of course, clawed it back. We made sure that in the one big beautiful bill and in the codifying of the executive orders, we got rid of that stuff. The Democrats want it back. That's the point. That's what Senator Kennedy was saying there with his charts on the Senate floor just a couple days ago. He's pointing out that Chuck Schumer is making a demand in exchange for opening the government. He wants to spend $1.5 trillion additional dollars, and he wants all that absurdity back in the budget. We're not doing that. Republicans have drawn a line. We're going to return to sanity here, and we can't let Chuck Schumer and the Democrats prevail.
Yeah, there's some insanity in Virginia. There's a breaking story. The Attorney General candidate down there, Mr. Jones, is fantasizing about murdering his opponents, just saying some despicable things, and it doesn't look like the Democrat Party nationally or statewide cares.
Absolutely. Those comments were vile, disgusting, and Jesse, they're disqualifying. And if the Democrats have any ounce of credibility left that they hope to salvage, they've got to come out and say that this guy should not be running for the Attorney General spot, the highest law enforcement officer in the state of Virginia. It's crazy. They've got to call it out, and I haven't seen any of them on Capitol Hill do that yet.
Yeah, the AG has a lot of power over people's lives. You don't want someone with a sick fetish like that with any more power than he already has. Speaker, great work, and
I'm telling you, like, we're seeing this fight amongst the left and the right, and it's polarizing right now, everybody. It is polarizing because of the common sense of right and wrong. Right now, Axios again was forced to report that the White House says it has funding to save the food aid program. Yeah, we're taking care of Americans. You dang straight we are. With tariff revenue. We're not having to borrow it. The money's coming in from the tariff revenues, and guess what? We're going to take care of WIC for the women and children that need it the most. So whenever the Democrats are continuously fighting, we're exposing them. I cannot, like this right here, I'm telling you, everybody, this was posted. This is literally from CBS, okay? CBS reported this, that people in California are now questioning their entire election system because now they've got these holes within their mail-in ballots that expose where they voted, what they voted for. And you got to think, everybody, you got to be naive, not living in the same reality as us, to not think that the people that are counting this say, like, oh, that's not ours. Let me throw that out. That's messed up. That, to me, I'm telling you, this is why voter ID matters. We are living in some different times, y'all. That's why we thank you so much for sharing our videos on X, Facebook, helping us grow our voice. If you're not a part of the family yet, please consider joining our family, hitting that subscribe button. And if you haven't already, hit the thumbs up like button. It really does help us out so much. We truly are thankful for your support. To everybody that is a member of the channel, to those that give in the super chats, I want to give some special love today to Tracy Markham, KRO, Nitro Soft Plastics, our boy Jim Barbado, Janet Glendenning. Thank you so much, Janet. Melinda Johnson, our boy Jogo. And if you got a free membership from Jogo, show him some love in the chat. Thank you so much, brother, for your faithfulness and your support. Doyle Alvin Knight, Simpson, thank you so much. Queen of Yeshua, Debbie Davis, show Debbie Davis some love in the chat. Robert Cash, thank you so much for your support. Andy, thank you so much, brother, for your support. CR, thank you so much. And to everybody that is in the chat, we cannot thank you enough. April Green, Cindy Lopez, Alice, thank you so much. Alice Lewis, Kim Jordan, Warrior Woman for Jesus Christ, Sweet Kitten. Thank you so much to everybody that gives. Our boy, Mr. Tracy J. Norby, Chris Prez, T Heavy Guy, OGD Dog, Joe DeVito, Lisa Anderson. We appreciate y'all so much. We're here to bring you the breaking news. Stuff is happening every day. We just want to make sure that you're fully informed. We love you, appreciate you, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.